Good morning, students. So, my name is K. Nagaraj, working as assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. Today, I will explain about collection of the solid waste after the segregation, after the waste generation of the solid waste and segregation at the source point and processing of the source point. That waste must be collected that waste must be collected by using the container systems and by using the collection vehicle. So first of all, to know the definition of the collection, so solid waste collection is a crucial component of any waste management system. Why? Because that waste contains the acidic nature or alkaline nature. That should be a proper handling of the solid waste from the source points to the destination point. Here, so it involves the gathering of the solid waste from the various sources like residential, commercial, institutional, and industrial, and agricultural, and construction and renovation industries, and transporting it to either a treatment facility or transportation station or directly to a disposal site like a sanitary landfills. So efficient waste collection which will helps to our surrounding is cleanliness or hygienic conditions, so that that area that cannot spread the any diseases from the waste to public health. So here the first, there are the several objectives of the solid waste collections. So here the first one is protect the public health. So if the collection of the solid waste is not frequently, in that case that will directly spread the diseases our surrounding residents. So that's the result. The waste should be must be collected frequently or regularly. So next objective is improve environmental hygiene. So efficient waste collection that should be impact effect on our surrounding environment. That should be effect on surrounding environment that result in our surrounding areas or geographical area should be cleanliness or hygienic conditions. And next one is prevent the littering and illegal dumping. So illegal dumping is prohibited under the solid waste management rule 2016. So next objective is if ensure efficient and cost effective transportation of the solid waste. Our next objective is minimize the time and cost of collection operations. So in this collection operations, there are the different methods are there. So first one is primary collection. This involves the collecting the waste directly from the source points such as homes and industries and public spaces. This is common method include the door-to-door collection. So door-to-door collection means the waste is collected directly from the individual households, often using the vehicles like auto and tricycles and trippers and push carts. So it includes the primary collection. And next one is it is also primary collection. The image yes. And next one is communal containers. So communal container means community connection. So waste is placed in shared containers located at the designated points for the collection. If the city which is suitable to the most of the mandal headquarters, that mandal headquarters region, it can be broken into a smaller communities. It that smaller communities, the most of the designated area that should be placed at the container. So nearby the residents are deposit to the waste into the that containers. So after the filling of the containers, the municipal vehicle coming to the dustbin and empty the dustbin, and it is placed to original position to for the collection of the next time period. So here the logical containers often for the commercial or industrial waste. So large container means it occupies the so large a large amount of solid waste It means the size varies up to so 10 to 1000 10 to 100 meter cube area volume meter cube volume. So that should be it collect the maximum amount of solid waste. So here the images clear shows the, so it is the green color, it represents the, it collects the wet waste, and it has a yellow container it is collects the medical waste, and it is the green color, and it is a green color. So most of the containers are so collect the waste sample. So if clearly observe that the green container is almost to fill, what will happen at that cases, the most of the depositors deposit it into the container that should be filled. So what will happen next to the that waste material and surrounding overflow from the container, that waste material decomposed by the natural process, in that process bad odor into the atmosphere or bad smell into the atmosphere, that directly affect on nearby residents. So here clear. So next one is definition of, next one is second method, that is secondary collections. These secondary collections involves the transporting the collecting waste from the transportation stations to the disposal station. So transfer stations, these are the intermediate facilities where the waste is collected by the primary collection vehicles. So tricycles or single cycles or pet quads, so these are transported to a larger vehicles for the longer distance. Why? Because the sanitary landfills are very far from the cities. So in that cases, so transfer stations are adapted. So transfer station means that it occupies the some area which is collected the waste from the individual households or smaller collection vehicles. So that again waste is reloaded into the large vehicles. Why? Because the disposal points are very far from the cities. So in that conditions, transport stations are needed to transport the material. Here clearly observe that, so this is the transportation station. So most of the vehicles, smaller vehicles are so collecting the samples and deposit to the this transport station. After the deposit, the maximum amount of solid waste is again loading into the larger vehicles for the product, transporting the solid waste from the transportation station to the disposal points. It is helps to reduce the transportation cost, and it also reduce the fuel cost, and also reduce the maintenance cost of the solid waste. Here it is the process of the collection of the solid waste. So here first one is household and community bins. It means the waste collection is directly from the individual households or from the communities. So here after that collection, the next one is compactor or trash check. So after this waste is emptied into or loading into the this vehicle. So this vehicle is transported to the transportation station. This transportation station is also called as a intermediate point for the reloading of the solid waste, large quantity of the solid waste. And next one is primary mover or silo. So after the training station, the large quantity of the solid waste reloading into the larger vehicle. That vehicle is transported from the transportation station to disposal point. This disposal point is also called as a landfill. So after the moving of the vehicle is destined or reached at the landfill. So after the reached, the the loading of the solid waste is unloading. Unloading means that waste is deposited on the ground surface. Here it is the process of the collection of the solid waste from source point to the destination points. And here, so then coming to next one is types of waste collection. Now, the types of waste collection is majorly classified into two types. It is based upon the container handling. So they are, first one is stationary container system and hollow container system. So first one is stationary container system. Stationary container system, in these systems containers remains at the point of waste generation or designated point, that is called as a stationary container system. Only the waste is removed and placed into a collection vehicle. After the emptying the container stay back into the original position for for the next reuse stage. So here, say the picture. This picture is clearly shows about the how the waste is collection and how to waste is collected by the municipality vehicle. So how it is works. So waste generators deposit their waste in fixed containers, bins or barrels. So the smaller size is called as a bins, the larger size container is called as a barrels. So in these barrels, the collection vehicles come at the scheduled intervals or frequently or regularly. So that collection crew empties the waste from the container into the truck. The container is not removed from its original position. Original position. Next one is, so this stationary container system is majorly used in or suitable to residential areas or commercial areas or institutional areas. So because the waste generation is very low compared to industries, compared to agriculture and compared to construction industry. So the waste generation is very low. So that's why this container stationary container system is most suitable to in this sector only. So next one, so in this method, so there are the different containers are used. So first one is small bins or small containers, the size up to 10 to 100, 10 to 100 liters for the individual houses. And next one is communal bins. Communal bins, the size varies from 200 to 1000 liters for the neighborhoods or communities. So next one is factors affecting on stationary container system. So every collection method, so there are the several factors are there. So why? Because the factors are always affecting the collection systems. So first factor is population density and waste generation rate. Waste generation rate. So if the population density means the unit of the population by the area, that is called as a density. So if the population density is high, and it will generate the more waste for the collection point, and it requires the more frequent services, and it will collect them the regularly, so it requires the more labor, and also it creates the more employability. And next one is, so waste generation. So normal days waste generation is very low compared to festival days and compared to weekends and seasonals. So if you observe, clearly observe that if the season is summer season, the most of the materials are generated. If the observe a rainy season, the waste generation is very low compared to most of the waste is wet waste. That waste material is decomposed by the natural process. Clear? And it especially festival times, so most of the packing materials are generated and collected into the these bins. Next one is container location and accessibility, and it is access for the collection vehicles, and it is access of the nearby residents. If the access is very low, the cleaning and the collection is very frequently or regularly. So if the area of the narrow streets and parked cars or poor placement can delay the operations. If the clear of that road margin is very low compared to narrow streets, so at that conditions collection vehicle is not move from move to that area. So that is most of the waste is stay back into the container. And next factor is container size and design. So larger containers reduces the collection trips, but may require the special lifting equipment. So larger containers reduce the collection trips. And design, the type of the materials or metal or plastic. So it affects the durability. We clearly observe that metal containers durability is very high compared to plastic materials, and it is easy emptying of the containers. Next factor is segregation at source. So better segregation is faster collection and less contamination. So segregated at source, so like so organic material and inorganic material, biodegradable material or non-biodegradable material, hazardous material or non-hazardous material. Separation at the source point is it is very easy to or faster collection of the waste, and it has also less contamination. Poor segregation can require the manual sorting site and increasing the time. And the next factor is collection frequency and schedule. High waste generation areas may need to daily collection, and fixed schedules helps the residents prepare waste collectively. And next factor is vehicle type and lifting mechanism. So compatibility between the container and vehicle lifting. So gear is essential. So hydraulic arm versus manual lifting affects the speed and safety. Hydraulic arm is it is collecting the very speed compared to manual lifting. So manual lifting it requires the more labor to lift the weight, lift the collection container. Next one is weather conditions. So rain may fill the containers with water, so thus resulting in the adding the weight of the wet waste. And extreme heat accelerates the decomposition and water issues. And next factor is labor availability and training. So skilled crews improves the efficiency and safety. Labor shortages can disrupt the timely collection. So next one is advantages of stationary container system. So this method is so cheaper containers since they are reused. And next one is frequent collection is possible and easy to use for the residents, and also it is suitable for the door-to-door collection system and less disruption as container stay in the place, and the initial cost is very low and the maintenance cost is very low and it's easy to maintenance. And next one is disadvantages. It requires the manual labor to empty the bins and spillage and overflow if collection is delayed. So difficult in congested areas due to the parking or access of the area. And next disadvantage is labor intensive, especially for the large scale areas, large square areas. Thank you.